Hey everyone, OzSwanton007 here, back with another pay-per-view review, and today we're starting a new year. We're doing 2008 today. We've actually got the Royal Rumble to start off the year. I forgot to mention WrestleAccess.com, check it out. The Royal Rumble 2008 started with... What did it start with? It started with a match of Ric Flair versus MVP. I'm sorry, I'm kind of doing this while I'm doing other stuff. So, start off with Ric Flair versus MVP, which was actually an alright match to start off with. I mean, it was a big chance for MVP to get over, and they kind of ruined it by just making it a quick match, something that Ric Flair got over quickly by. And the thing is, Ric Flair, he won with the figure four, and it didn't really go for that long. It was like an 8-10 minute match, something like that. And, there were so many more chances for MVP to get over, and for Rick to sort of pass the torch to MVP a little bit, but not lose. And that was kind of disappointing. And something I noticed in the match is MVP put on some weight, that was distracting me through the whole match. So overall, I think I gave it 2 stars, maybe. Yeah, I think I gave it 2, maybe 2.25. I haven't got the star ratings on me, so I'll just be giving average ones, but they'll come up down the bottom and on the video. The next match was Chris Jericho versus JBL, and that was a fairly good match. I enjoyed it. The psychology was good, even though the ending was a bit lackluster, with Jericho getting DQ'd, which was a bit part of storyline, which was good, but it didn't really. It doesn't really help the match, I feel, when people get DQ'd. It might help a rivalry or something, but it does not help a match at all. But they did wrestle quite well, and the match itself was fairly. What was it? It was a bit slow, actually, at some points. There was no real high spots, but it did its job, and that's why I'm giving it a 2.5, 2 3/4. JBL's never really been one to go really well in the matches. Then I think next is Edge versus Rey Mysterio. Now, this I probably expected about 4 stars from it. I watched it for the first time a couple years ago. Back when I first started watching wrestling, and I enjoyed the ending when I watched it that time, but now that I know more about wrestling, the ending was it completely fitted with storyline, but you would have liked to have seen Edge go over cleanly, especially going into WrestleMania against Undertaker. A clean win over Rey Mysterio would have been great, but it fits the personality of Edge, the ultimate opportunist and stuff like that, for him to finish the match with Vicky covering him and saving him from Ray's 619. And then my favourite spot of the night was when Rey Mysterio went off the top rope for the splash, and then Edge speared him midair. That was definitely my favourite part of the night, which I actually thought was alright that he didn't get any help from what's his name, Kurt Hawkins, Zack Ryder, which I thought that was fairly good. Overall, I give the match 2.5 stars. It was a good overall wrestling match, and it did its thing till the end. Bit slow. The end really kind of picked it up a little bit than you would have thought, because it was a bit more fast-paced and exciting near the end. 3.5 stars. Then you've got the WWE Championship Match between Rey Mysterio and Randy Orton, which, how do I explain it? It was bit like the last match Jeff Hardy had. It was odd to see Jeff Hardy wrestling in the main event with main event caliber guys. I mean, not seeing him in a tag team or a mid-card wrestler, it was odd. It's difficult to get used to, I think. But this match, they did well. They countered, they wrestled, they submitted, they did all the proper stuff, and I don't know, it's just something that... It's also, I feel like Madison Square Garden, it has a bit different feel to it, not being the main stage and seeing the screen behind it. It has a different feel to it. I've always felt that. But yeah, the match itself was average Like, it was a good match at passing rate of 3.25, and they did everything you'd want them to do. Jeff didn't go over, though. I think he went for the twist of fate, and Randy reversed it into the RKO, which I don't mind. Jeff didn't really seem ready. He seemed like he needed a little bit longer. He wasn't quite ready to main event WrestleMania. He probably needed a title run first before he main evented WrestleMania, which I thought if he would have stayed in the company till 2010, he would have definitely been main eventing WrestleMania 26, but he didn't. So, 3.5 stars. Then we've got the Royal Rumble match between... Who is it between? Oh, no, sorry, it's the Royal Rumble match. It started off with two big names, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, which sort of seemed like during the match, Undertaker and Shawn Michaels were sort of setting up for a match between each other, which obviously didn't go down, which I think was fairly good. It didn't. Turned out well the other way. Both of them had 4.5 star matches plus, which was good and really helped to the event. And then they had the epic matches 2 years later. But that sort of added to the whole Undertaker Shawn Michaels rivalry. It sort of eliminated each other. Had a lot of interaction during the main event. During the match, I enjoyed seeing John Morrison. He lasted about 20 minutes. I enjoy seeing altercation between Rowdy Roddy Piper, Jimmy Snuka, the famous Piper's Pit segment where Piper hit the coconut over Snuka's head. And I also enjoyed seeing, Mick Foley. Love seeing Mick Foley, always love seeing Mick Foley. And that was good stuff. The surprise return of John Cena I knew about because obviously it's like 5 years on from now. But it still gave me goosebumps. Like I sat in bed, I got goosebumps. I'm not a John Cena fan at all, but the crowd that night and just the feeling of how big that was at the time gave me goosebumps. Nobody knew about it. Like, what's a return? It hasn't really been run in recent time. Like CM Punk winning the WWE Championship, Money in the Bank. That was huge when that happened. And I had goosebumps that night. And when he retained that, no one knew that it was going to happen, and that was just awesome. And I was just sitting in bed, and I'm just like, got a bit of the chills, and goosebumps there are. And, you know, it was a good match. It was looking towards 4.5, the Royal Rumble, but then the end, it really brought it down. You got John Cena, Batista, Triple H, all sort of the last three, and, you know, I don't know why, I just felt like sort of brought it down. It'd been a great been a great Royal Rumble until that end bit where they stuffed around a bit. I mean, all they had to do was have a quick end, and it would have stayed 4.5 stars. Like, they could have stared each other down and then done something quickly rather than like Triple H and John Cena wrestling for like another 5 minutes in the ring, which I felt brought it down. So overall, I'm giving, with John Cena winning, 4 stars for the Royal Rumble main event. Overall, I'm going to give the pay-per-view I don't know, you'll see it right now or whatever. I can't remember what I gave it. So, you know, it was a good overall sort of main event. There was nothing really under 2 stars, which is good. But the problem is, there was only the Royal Rumble main event. I think the Royal Rumble main event, that really got 4 stars. And with one more match being 4 stars, would have really made this a great pay-per-view. And that's what this pay-per-view was. It was a good pay-per-view. Not an amazing pay-per-view or a great pay-per-view. It was good. So guys, I'm on Swanton 007. Check out WrestleAccess.com. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Thanks, guys.